Speaking of partnership and being that you're inside of the mental health space with the SPA, Selfish, and obviously with BTST, how do you ensure yours, right? Because you're adding a lot to your plate. There's parents, there's obviously the relationship that you have as a couple. How do you ensure that you're making sure that your mental health is where it needs to be so that you can function at a high level?
Therapy. We've been in therapy for God knows what, 10 years? and it's not always because there's a problem. We lessen the problems or we end together. And it's to ensure that we lessen the problems or we run into as least amount of problems as we can, because without it, it's us trying to figure it out on our own. And to add, he's a licensed therapist and he tries to do therapy on me. And it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Well, you're a non-compliant client. It's not my skill set. It's just that you're a tough client for anybody. But, and it's hard. And when you're a therapist, it's certain code of ethics. You're not supposed to like sleep with the person that you're doing therapy with. So, I kind of jacked that up. But I would say, like she said, as a licensed therapist, one of the things they tell you when you're in school is that before you do therapy, you need to sit in the chair of a client and make sure that you receive therapy so that you understand the process and the vulnerability associated with it. But in addition to that, when I was talking about that balance, I'm run. Like at work, we created this program, the way we evaluate opportunities, right? We call it like incubation. And incubation stage, you can just think as much as you want. You can create as much as you want. And there's no limits. Janine used to limit me in my incubation stage, right? So we were like, hey, you got to let Chris think, right? And then you have operational stage. Operational stage is when we really work through the nuts and bolts of these ideas. We try to bring them down and say, is this a real opportunity? What does this look like? Is this a win? Is this a loss? How does this look? And then if we decide to go forward, so we will say no to it at that point, or we decide to go forward. And if we decide to go forward, it's called implementation. So then we implement another idea, and then we're going to evaluation as the last stage, right? So then we're evaluating for us to create this idea, for us to do that. What was the win and what did we lose for gaining that win? Because even when you're winning, you're losing something. To do a big event or something, we might have spent a lot of time, a lot of money. Thing, something they could have been doing micro-marketing. We took our marketing team off of this thing, something they could have been doing micro-marketing on because we're doing this macro-marketing. I'm sorry, where was I going with that?
We were talking about our mental health and like.
Oh, yes. So I like to run. I'm in that incubation stage a lot. And where Janine is like, Chris, I'm not signing up for another thing else right now. We're trying to get this family in order. We're trying to do that. And then she'll plan 3 vacations for us to go on. But she's like, hey, we need to slow our life down, right? So it's that yin and yang where I'm like running like, oh no, this would be a dope idea. This would be great. And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, yo, you're not hearing me. No, you're really not listening. Like, yo, this is great. Come on, let's go. Why aren't you excited? Because she's like, because I see you getting burnt out. I see you getting overwhelmed. I see you getting frustrated. I see you not being here. I see, me having to do this. I see all of these other things. I see the investment. I see all of this. So let's kind of balance this out a little bit. So to help my mental health, like that yin to the yang, she's like, slow down. Let's eat what's on our plate first, and then let's think about how we want to move forward.
Clap it up for Janine.